Hi guys!
Welcome back!
Hello, welcome to my channel. We're doing Berklee College of Music advice and tips for your freshman year. And we did part 1 over on Niqisax's channel, so go check that out. This is part 2, and let's get into it.
The first question we have is how to prepare musically just before you get to Boston, so you're kind of just like at the best level I guess you can be at.
A couple things to be aware of is, yes, you want to be able to play your instrument or sing as well as you can, but it's also really important to work on things like ear training and music theory knowledge. And so those are things that you can implement into your practice routine before you get to Berklee, just maybe 15 minutes a day. And I think that's going to make a really big difference and help so that you don't feel overwhelmed when you get into your harmony and ear training classes. Because I know ear training can be a lot for some people who've never done it before. And I would say just make sure you're taking a little bit of time to practice every day, because it's going to make a really big difference and you're going to be glad you did. You know, you want to be able to be competent and confident that when you get there, you're going to be able to do what you love and do what you know.
Yeah, definitely. Practice musically on what you do know. So for me, it was voice. I know I did a lot of singing. I built a lot of repertoire. And yeah, I just made sure I had like my own little set list, I guess. So if I was asked to sing somewhere, or if I wanted to sing somewhere, I felt prepared to be able to like showcase myself, because there is a lot of showcasing.
Yeah.
Like the first month, I would say there's talent shows. Even like as you're like jamming and meeting new people.
Yeah, so I guess like our equivalent of that would be make sure you know like jazz standards, jazz tunes. And I'd also say if you can, take a couple private lessons with someone, and preferably someone who's been in the music school environment. For me, I took a couple lessons with someone that had been to Juilliard and that had taught there and had been in one of those big East Coast schools, and he was able to give me a lot of helpful advice, not only musically, but just about what that experience is going to be like.
Yeah, talk to people, reach out to people you already know, see their experiences, what it's like to study music. Okay, the second question, can I work on campus?
Yeah, so Berklee does have on-campus jobs, and they're really awesome. So the one that I did was stage crew, which is basically helping with all of Berklee's performances, which there are several every single day of the school year. So for me, that meant helping do mics and sound and lighting and just everything involved with that, like backstage setup and takedown process with those. But there are also a lot of other jobs on campus. There's ones for the Career Center, ones who are in the library. And like Giselle said, they're really, really willing to work with your class schedule. And the nice thing about working on campus is you don't have to deal with the travel and transportation that's gonna suck away so many hours of your day.
So true. How did you find the on-campus job?
So in the beginning, during orientation week or shortly thereafter, they'll have like a job fair, and so they'll have a bunch of people representing the different on-campus jobs at Berklee, and you can go and talk to them. And I think for stage crew, they're just like, this is the fun job. So I was like, okay. So they'll have you apply. I think it's through a website called Workday.
I've heard like it's a great way to network and meet people too, and meet friends. So
yeah, I actually met my roommate for this coming semester through my stage crew job, and stage crew was really awesome for me because you get to watch live performances all the time and get paid for it. And the cool thing about working there, as opposed to being like a waiter at a restaurant or something, is it's part of your education there. I learned so much about live sound and live engineering that I had no idea about before. And so it's just basically another form of education. And I actually did hear that people who worked in stage crew got more jobs after Berklee than any of the other majors.
Wow. Yeah, I have had on-campus jobs, and I know they are literally the best thing ever. I highly, highly, highly recommend if you can work on campus. Okay, next question is, How can I meet people? I guess this is like the really big question.
Yeah. Networking.
Yeah, it's sort of like our experience with putting ourselves out there, maybe collaboration. Yeah, how do you meet people?
Yeah, so I would say definitely put yourself out there as much as possible from day one. You know, go sit by people you don't know, introduce yourself, get their Instagrams. I will say Instagram is actually a huge thing. As much as Instagram has all of its flaws and problems, for networking specifically at Berklee, Instagram is your business card, okay?
Literally.
So there are people
100%.
passing around phones in a circle, like getting each other's usernames, because that's how you're gonna remember who they are. You're gonna meet so many people, and the trick is, who are you actually gonna remember? Who are you actually gonna foster these new relationships with? And so there are people I will have met and I don't remember their name. 5 minutes later, you just check their Instagram.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an Instagram, even if you hate social media, I would recommend getting one for that reason, just for the networking. And I will actually get like calls for, you know, can you come record on my project? Can you come play in my senior recital? And it's all through Instagram.
Oh yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely had friends hit me up because they saw like work on my Instagram, or like, you're super good, can you come record for this, can you come,
Totally.
like it really is a resume in a sense. Connect with people after you get the initial Instagram. Definitely like ask them to meet at the caf.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like meet at the caf, or even an ice cream, or invite them to a show. Maybe you want to go to like a caf show that night. Just follow up by like extending an invitation, or an invitation to jam or write, whatever that may be. It's all through Instagram and it works super well, and that's a great way to like keep making friends.
I think that's a really good goal, is to not ever eat alone. I'm so guilty of this because I ate alone all the time because I just needed my own space. But if you can, make a goal to like eat at least 2 of your meals every day with someone.
Definitely.
You know, like try and build those relationships you already have made, and then build new ones, because eating is a form of just, you know, having that sort of belonging and that familial sort of feeling. And so, like Hazel said, eating at the cafe with someone is a really great way to keep that up.
And it can be scary. Like, I know I met people, and then I was like, I thought they were super cool, and was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to like chat with them more. And then I always hesitated before like reaching out or sending a DM. But no, like in the end, it's worth it. Chances are they're also lonely too, and also want to make friends. So I made a lot of friends that way. I met them once, and then I'd like just like say, hey, do you want to get lunch at the caf sometime? And then that's how I'd make my friends. Really is putting yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, I kid you not, you will be lonely.
Yeah, it's true.
You will be lonely. If you don't make the effort, nothing's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. And also, playing into that musically, because you are at music school, your music really is a way you're going to get to know people. And so that's why we say, like, when you need to prepare musically, it's because if you're playing a show and you butcher it, no one's going to like call you up, frankly, because it's music school and it is like that. Whereas if, you know, like Hazel said, if you're singing and you do a great job, everyone's going to come up to you saying, you know, you did such a great job. Would you like to come sing on my project after? And I will say one specific example I can think of is during orientation week, they have this huge jam session, and the entire school's there basically. And I have always had a little bit of anxiety with jam sessions since forever, but I made it a rule for myself that I would always play at them no matter what, because I needed to get out of my comfort zone. And so they had a place where people could sign up, and it was terrifying, but I just signed up without thinking about it. And I went on and I played and I took a solo, and I felt pretty good about it.
It was amazing. I literally Monique was on stage with like a bunch of men, and I was like, I didn't know her at this point. Like, I didn't know who she was. I just remember I was at that jam session, and I was like, oh my gosh, the only girl up there. I was like, this is incredible. Like, I'm gonna like cheer as loud as I can. Like, like after it finished or whatever. But yeah, I remember that, and I remember Monique from that jam session and how amazing she sounded and how awesome it was. And I know people remember her because every time, I kid you not, there were like moments where like we'd be hanging out in public and there were people that would come up to her and be like, oh my gosh, you're from that jam session, you're so good. Like, and then, I mean, you can talk about it. I'm sure that led you to meeting other people and more jam opportunities. Like,
yeah, it's so true because they're gonna remember your sound musically more than they're gonna remember you saying, oh hey, my name's Monique. They're gonna remember your solo more than that. And so from that experience, I was able to join, you know, like a student band that was getting together, and I met a lot of people through that, and people even 5 months after be like, oh, you were at that jam session. Because it's just, when you have an audience full of like 2,000 people, use it. Okay, our next question is, do you think there is much opportunity to perform at Berklee?
I do, to a certain extent. There are politics that come into play, and I say politics in the terms of like, a lot of the times for like the really big shows, for like the BPC or for anything really, I mean, it is what it is. People will like recruit their friends or have preference over their friends that they've known for a long time. And that's how I felt.
Yeah, and frankly, that's how it will be for your entire, everything. With music, that's the way it goes, and that's why networking is emphasized so much, because even if you can play so well, they're gonna call their friend. Yeah. That's how it goes.
Really. There are, in terms of like opportunity to perform, there is a lot, like you can audition for a lot of things. Like there are BPC shows. I know they did like a Stevie Wonder show, a Taylor Swift show, Billie Eilish. I was in a show called Ídolos. There is a lot of opportunities to audition and to get involved. There's open mic nights.
There is a lot of opportunity to perform. The trick is taking advantage of auditions, reaching out to people, letting them know you're interested, and also be aware that your ensemble will perform at least once a semester.
True.
So even if you don't get out to all these other opportunities, take comfort that there will be at least one that you can really shine through on.
Yeah. So. And also just final thoughts, like you make opportunities for yourself. So like what Monique said, like reaching out to people, letting them know you're interested, maybe creating your own opportunities.
Yeah, there are student recitals that you can audition for, and then you'll put together your own band, you'll do everything yourself, provide the music, and basically Berklee will just give you a venue, a time, a place, and there's also CAF shows that you can audition for. So CAF shows happen every single night at 10 p.m. and they'll have an audition, and you'll send in videos of yourself and your band playing, and if they like what they see, then they'll sign you up for a time.
Yeah, it is what you make it, and so don't be discouraged by anything really, because it's out of your control. You know your own musicianship, you know what you can do. If there's not opportunities for you, create them. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Boston itself and kind of the culture. There's a lot of sound there, the transportation, all of that.
Yeah.
I come from a city of about 96,000, just to give you a frame of reference. So it's not like terribly small, but it's not anywhere near as big as Boston.
Yeah, definitely. I guess in terms of like Boston living, it was very overwhelming when I first got there. Just kind of the way people are always moving. Like even in the streets, like there's always something happening, construction, just people walking, and people are trying to get to their destination quickly. And so I always felt like I had to be on. I remember that like those first few months I was like, okay, well, I need to make sure I'm like watching my surroundings, I'm not walking too slow.
Yeah, you will start walking very fast.
Yes.
I've noticed that in cities I walk so much faster than I do in regular towns or like smaller cities, just because that's the culture there. Like you have somewhere to be and you need to get there on time.
Yeah, there's no time to waste.
Yeah.
Basically. In terms of like tips and stuff, just be street smart, be aware of your surroundings. Don't go walking alone at night, really. Like, if you have to, you have to. Sometimes you're getting home late from like a party or a rehearsal or wherever. But just be really cautious, especially if you're a woman and like you're walking alone at night or even in the day. Just be aware of yourself. If you're anyone, just be aware of your surroundings and who's around you.
Yeah, and I'd say something that I did to make sure I felt safe is just always carry a pepper spray with me. And a lot of people, like girls especially, will do that there when they're walking around. Always try and get someone to come with you if you're going out and it's getting dark. And just, be street smart. But Boston is a really cool place, and because there's people outside almost all the time, I will say I feel pretty safe.
Definitely.
It is a pretty safe place just because there's always ice. There's not really a lot of like super dark alleyways where no one's there. So
yeah, I would agree. I actually felt really safe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there was one where I didn't feel safe.
Yeah, and if you do, then they also have the Berklee police, and they can come and escort you to, your dorm or wherever you need.
But Boston's super fun to live in. There's always something to do.
Definitely.
Something going on, especially at Berklee. There's always shows you can see, jam sessions you can go to.
The food is so good in Boston.
Yes, the food's really good.
There's some of the best restaurants that I've eaten at have been in Boston. So definitely set aside some spare change so that you can treat yourself to a really nice dinner at the end of midterms or whenever you're feeling it. Because you should take advantage of the food there. If you're from a smaller town, like it's really good.
It is really, really good food. Weather, I mean, we're from a dry place, so it's humid.
Yeah, but in the winter, it's better. But if you're in the summer, it's gonna get really wet and muggy. So.
Yeah. When you first get there, I would say like by the end of September, things got a little bit more cooler and not as humid. But I remember when I first got there, I was like, whoa, it's hot. And I felt swampy, like my skin was like moist.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to the humidity.
It was really,
But other than that, it's pretty good. Winters are kind of brutal. No, honestly, not as bad as I thought they were gonna be.
I know, everyone was like freaking out, and I don't know if we just had a mild winter.
Yeah.
We did have pretty bad snowstorms. There was a lot of snow days.
Brutal.
So they will cancel school for those because they're just impossible to get through. But definitely bring a really, really big winter coat. I got one that went past like my calves. Just so, don't get one that's going to your waist because you need something long and warm.
Definitely.
Something with a hood.
Yeah, I bought snow boots, but I didn't really use them that much. I think I used them when we had like the 2 big snowstorms. That's when I used them.
Yeah.
But other than that, like for every day, because you're on campus and you're close, luckily if you get 150 and 160, you're close to all your classes. It won't, like walking and things like that won't really be a big deal in the snow, but like if you get like 270.
Yeah, Commonwealth, you're gonna be walking a lot, so make sure you have boots.
Yeah. If you're like farther away from school, I would consider snow boots and stuff.
What are some fun things you like doing in Boston?
Well, eating is so fun. Going to the North End is so much fun. I really just like walking around. Like if you go to Cambridge, there's a bus that like picks you up right in front of the 160 building, well, close by. It's really right in front. Cambridge is like where Harvard is, and that area is like really beautiful and green.
Yeah, definitely make a trip out there.
Yeah, and there are a lot of like parks out there. So yeah, I really like going to Cambridge, just exploring. I mean, downtown Boston's really fun to explore. Really, the entire city is just a whole place where you can just go explore. But like the museums are fun. I went to the MFA. I spent like 3 hours in there. That was way awesome.
Yeah, I would say also, if you can, try and find a way to meet people from other colleges because Boston is home of universities and colleges. So I know me and some of my friends went to a hockey game at, I think it was Boston College, and that was super fun. I think me and Niqisax have met a lot of other students through like church activities. but it's definitely a student city, so take advantage of that. I mean, you're in the same city as people from Harvard and MIT.
Yay.
That's not something to take lightly.
No.
So the Boston Symphony Orchestra is like 5-minute walk.
A 5-minute walk.
And sometimes Berklee will give away like free tickets, so keep an eye on that. So
yeah, it's musician central.
It's
like
awesome.
You literally have Berklee and New England Conservatory.
Yeah, I went to like a New England Conservatory jam session, and it was super fun. I met a lot of really amazing players there. See if you can go to any of their concerts as well. Just intermingle as much as you can. It's so awesome.
For sure. It's an awesome city. It has great boba too, so if you like that.
Let's talk about things we did like about Berklee.
A lot.
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out to me is the access there is to anything and everything. So Berklee is really a place to make dreams come true. I know that's silly to say, but if there's someone you want to meet, chances are you'll know someone that knows them and you can set up a FaceTime with them or whatever. Yeah, I just love that when you're at Berklee, you have access to everyone's knowledge. That's part of paying to be there. So, you know, talk to professors, even professors that you don't have classes with. Everyone will have office hours and you can set up times with them. So for example, I had a bunch of questions about audio engineering and some of the possibilities of that and even their opinions on it. And so I'd always go to their office hours and ask them, and they're more than willing to help. They're excited to talk about what they love. So take advantage of office hours for sure, even if you just want to talk about their career and things that aren't necessarily related to whatever class you're in. Your peers can be some of your greatest assets. Make sure you make friends with music production and engineering students because they're going to be the ones that get you studio time. And you know, you can basically do anything you want to there. And they bring in guest artists all the time from all over, like really famous, well-known people. They brought in Bruno Mars' producer, and they'll bring in Instagram famous people, and it's really a great way to connect with them and get to know what the industry is actually like and kind of put your foothold in the door.
Definitely. Oh yeah, 100%. Connecting with everyone is important, but really, like, when you get a professor for a class, like, look up their like life career.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, like, you might not know, have contacts with other people. And just
my professor went on Beyonce's world tour.
Oh yeah.
So like they are in the industry. They're not just random people.
No, they're working in it. He knows like people in LA, and that he literally offered, he said, if your stuff is good, come talk to me. If it's good enough, like, I'm willing to like refer you, put your name out there, whatever it is, like get you in contact with certain people. So yeah, I really love how the people working at Berklee are involved in the music industry, know people, which really helps you get great connections and grow and build your own career through that. So it's awesome. I really love, in terms of Berklee, I love diversity.
Yeah.
Like, I met so many people from so many different places. Their stories, how they arrived to music. It's really inspiring.
Definitely. There's a lot of international students at Berklee.
It's super inspiring how people are motivated and how they just think so outside the box and want to create things. And they just are so unapologetic, which is so refreshing.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel, at least for me, it made me feel like I could also be myself, and I didn't feel judged or anything.
Yeah, that's true. Like, people wear whatever they want, say whatever they want, and sometimes it might come off as a little like abrasive, like if you're on the street or something, but in general it actually fosters a really creative and wholesome environment for people to show who they are and to build off of each other's energy and each other's ideas and backgrounds. A lot of people will make music from the countries that they're from, and so it's really cool.
Diversity is awesome. And I mean, there's so many little specific things I could talk about, but in general, it was like the best experience of my life. Like, I grew so much. I met so many amazing people.
Yeah.
I have so many amazing friends now that I am forever grateful for. And just a lot of acquaintances too that like I'm grateful for what they taught me, and to hopefully like keep collaborating with them in the future. Because these are people that you will, as you grow in music, they will grow with you.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome to have.
You never know who's gonna be there 10 years from now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will say also like a quick little story that kind of embodies, I think, what we're talking about is when I was in 9th grade, I went to Salt Lake City and I saw this jazz group play. It was really amazing. John Clayton was there, as well as Jasmine Horn. If you haven't heard of her, check her out. But she's a really amazing jazz vocalist. And I thought to myself in the audience, like, how wonderful would it be to be able to play on stage with musicians like that. Fast forward to this year, I actually got to play on stage with Jasmine Horn at the Berklee Performance Center, and she was our guest artist. She led our band, and we played her arrangements. So you never know. That's the cool thing about Berklee is just the connections, the people. The people is what makes Berklee who it is. I feel like
100%.
It's so awesome. I mean, check out the alumni list.
Like literally.
So cool.
Literally. Yeah, I would agree. Berklee's amazing, and yeah, just stay true to yourself, stay genuine. Obviously, don't be friends with people just for like connection or whatever. Like,
actually like them.
like them and connect with them who they are on just like a human level. And that will bring you a lot of like happiness and true friendship.
Great place to be. Yeah. You honestly though, you'll wake up and you'll be like, I'm at Berklee. What? Like that happened to me so much.
Me too.
Where it's like you feel like you're in a dream and you're waiting to wake up.
It's a fever dream actually.
It's pretty cool. Okay, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. It was super fun to film, and remember to check out part 1 on Giselle's channel. It'll be linked down below. Comment and ask us if you have any more questions, anything you'd like us to elaborate on. You can always DM us on Instagram. So
yeah, and I'll also be checking out the comments on this video, and then obviously on my video Monique will be looking at those too. So if you like have a specific question, just make sure to be like at Monique at Giselle on either or video, and we'll answer. So
all right, have a great school year. Can't wait to see you at Berklee in the future.
Bye.